the real reason you're stressed. It may seem like this stuff is just information, but sometimes just understanding why something happens can create a positive change. Recently, I was teaching a group of university bookstore directors from the Mountain West in Park City, Utah. After the morning class, I was visiting with several of the participants. One woman in particular stopped to tell me that in over 50 years, she had never learned about stress and how and why it happens in such a simple and concise way. She mentioned that after listening for the little bit of time that we were together, she was confident she knew what she needed to do to stay motivated to remove all of the possible stress from her life. And she felt totally empowered to be able to do just that. The things I taught that class on that quiet July morning in the mountains of Utah are exactly what I'm going to share with you. Consider this. Think about the symptoms of stress on the stress self-assessment you did earlier. For most people, these maladies are a result of out-of-control stress levels. Here's a list of health problems that are known to result when the stress response remains activated. As you can see, the list of symptoms of chronic stress is a long one. But why would this be the case? Why, when we're stressed, would the body generate sore muscles, headaches, fatigue, irritability, and a host of other unpleasant conditions? If it is so detrimental to our well-being, why do we have this experience of stress in the first place? To understand this, it's very important that we learn the real and only reason why stress happens. Pay close attention. Our ancestors did it to us. Let's transport ourselves back in time many, many generations ago and observe what life was like for our ancestors. We want to look specifically at how our ancient relatives dealt with dangerous conditions and life-threatening situations. Imagine that we're living many centuries ago in a place where we find no trace of modern conveniences. We have no nice homes, no cell phones or television, no indoor plumbing, no electricity, no food in the cupboards, no cars, nothing to keep us in relative comfort. It's nothing like the environmental conditions in which we find ourselves today. For the sake of this illustration, let's say that we all live in caves or in huts out in the wilds of some undeveloped area of the world. Let's imagine that I happen to live in a cave. I've invited you and many of our neighbors over to my place because I have just killed a very big animal and I'm cooking it on my prehistoric barbecue. Many of our friends are at my cave hanging out, feeling calm and peaceful, and having a fun time. We're having a nice, relaxing moment together. As you picture this scene, you'll notice that the place where I live happens to border a forest thick with trees, bushes, and shrubbery. It's a very beautiful and natural setting. While we're hanging out together, we notice some ruffling of the bushes of the nearby forest. Suddenly, charging mightily toward us is a huge, hungry bear. This enormous creature has smelled our delicious picnic and wants some of it for himself. This large, menacing creature could easily put us out of commission with a single swipe of his powerful paw. Can you picture this scenario? Here comes the bear charging at us. He's hungry and wants our food. What is the very first thought that's going to race into your mind when you see the big bear? You might think your first thought would be, run. I need to get the heck out of here. That's almost right, but there's another thought that precedes it. Run is your second thought. Your first thought would be some variation of these words. Uh-oh, I'm in trouble here. I'm in serious danger, and if I don't do something quickly, I'm likely to die or experience serious physical pain. This is really bad. Thoughts like these happen very quickly, in a fraction of a second. And next comes the stress response. Almost as quickly, this initial thought is followed by the next thought. Run. I need to get away, because if I don't, I'm dead. And I don't want to die. You might also have another thought that follows the initial uh-oh thought. It sounds something like fight. I need to kill this creature to protect my family, my friends, and myself. The immediate results of either of these thoughts is a physiological response that gears up your body to either run with incredible speed and/or fight with incredible strength. This immediate physiological response is commonly known as the fight or flight response. We'll also call it the stress response. Now that you know the reason the fight or flight response turns on, let's find out what happens to you when your body turns on the stress response. You might be surprised. Find out in the next video called The Big Reaction.